What's going on, guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into different lighting setups. This video will essentially kick off a large lighting series where we dive into each specific lighting setup individually and get a little bit more detail into how we like to light it on set and when and how to use those lighting setups out in the real world. Okay, let's start this video off by running through some of our different ways of key lighting. Now, a key light basically is your main source of light. You may have heard the simple way to do an interview setup is a 3-point lighting setup. When they say 3-point light, that means there's 3 sources of light. And in those 3 sources, there's always one main source, a key light. So key light setup number 1 is the Rembrandt lighting. That's essentially what we got going on right now. You can always tell if it's a Rembrandt lighting by the triangle shape on the shadow side opposite of the key light. Right now, the camera is in line with my face and our key light is 45 degrees from where I'm sitting, which gives me a nice key side and a shadow side. Now, the reason why we use Rembrandt lighting on most of our interview setups is for that beautiful shadow side. Make sure that when you are using the Rembrandt style key light, that you have it on the side that is motivated by other sources of light in the room. Let's say you're shooting an interview in an office and your subject is facing the camera and there's a window to their left. So if there's a window to their left, then your key light should be on the same side as that window. So our job is to enhance what is already happening in real life. So adding a key light to the side of the window will then enhance that light that's already present from that window. So always look for natural sources and ambient lighting, and then use your artificial lights to enhance what is already happening in real life. Okay, and moving on to key light number 2, split lighting. Split lighting is dramatic, it's moody, it's exactly what the name refers to. It's splitting the highlights and the shadows on your subject's face. And the way to set up split lighting is very simple. You move your key light from where it was for Rembrandt lighting and you slide it all the way 90 degrees to your subject on the side, giving them a very harsh roll off from light to dark. This is a great way to create mood and drama in your scenes. Now, going from one side all the way to the other side of the spectrum for our third key light setup, which is the beauty light. Now, the beauty light is typically directly above our A-cam and directly above my face. This lighting setup is typically used mainly to fill in all the shadows on the face, to accentuate face details, or maybe it's makeup, maybe it's someone just got a new Botox injection and they want to show off their new jaw and they're feeling good. Really, it's a stylistic choice. Each one of these key light setups is subjective to the client. In my professional opinion, I believe all of us should understand each way of setting up a key light, because you don't want to be a one size fits all. Now, I don't want this mindset to discourage us from having a style. We all have a style. We all have a way of shooting a photo or a certain way of lighting a scene. For the most part, when you're out in the real world doing real jobs for real clients, there's a lot of different opinions, formulas, ideas, styles, and so I believe we should be as flexible as possible. Our style is the client's style, and you don't want to be the guy or the gal that is not experienced enough to move your light 45 degrees or to the side to create that mood and drama for the film. So you want to be an expert in either one of these key light setups, whether it be the beauty light, the Rembrandt light, or the split light. Each one will give you a different mood for your film. And then remember, the story of the film should always drive the mood of the film, not the other way around. There's always a dance between your style and what the story calls for. Now, we got the key light setups out of the way. Now let's blaze through some of the other different lighting setups. Let's start with our top-down light. The top-down light can be very useful for very stylistic films or interrogation scenes. The top-down light can also be a great way to fill in some shadows in conjunction with your key light. So if you're filming a large lunch table scene or dinner table scene with multiple people, then having that top-down key light can be a great way to accentuate what we normally see in real life, which is lights from above. For us, most of the time we use a top-down light in conjunction with our key light to bring out some of the hair, bring out some of the facial features in the body, and really separate them from the background. And speaking of background separation, let's talk about our backlights. Now, backlight can also be referred to as rim light, hair light, or edge light, but there are different forms of backlight, and that could be either an edge light. You can have your Rembrandt light 45 degrees from you and your edge 45 degrees behind you. That's gonna allow for a very nice background separation, and with that light 45 degrees behind you, it's not gonna fill in the beautiful shadows that you desired with your 45-degree Rembrandt. So having the edge light will illuminate the side of the neck and the jawline and the back of the head, and for the main purpose of that is to separate your subject from the background. An edge light can also be dialed in to be very, very subtle. I always say it depends on the environment. Sometimes what we do is place a lamp on the opposite side of our key light behind the subject to give us a reason to add an edge light. So if somebody's sitting in a chair, clearly in the shot you can see that there's a window on their key side, and on the opposite side, that's where we'll plant that lamp to then give us an excuse to add an edge light. And our next form of backlighting is our hair light. Our hair light is exactly as described. We like to use this in most of our interview setups, as this is a very effective way from separating your subject from the background. Another form of backlight is the rim light. Now, this one is typically used when someone is facing away from the camera, having the side of their face to the camera. You can essentially edge light them by shooting a harsh light into their face, opposite side of camera, creating a nice edge around their facial features. This is a really cool and stylistic setup that isn't very common in the corporate or interview setup world, but it's something that you should have in your toolkit to pull out whenever the client calls for it. Okay, that was our backlight series. Now the next layer that you can add into your images is practical lights. Practical lights are essentially adding a lamp or adding a tube light or string lights, Christmas lights, a Christmas tree. Those all fit into the practical light world. This is something that can really bring your image to life. Maybe you're sitting in a room and there's other rooms behind that person or that subject, and instead of allowing it to be pitch black back there without any layers in your image, that's where you'll maybe toss on a light back there to bring out some of the rooms. Maybe you get a little stylistic and you add a really warm orange light in there to bring out some of the pockets of shadows back there. Our idea when we are setting up a frame or a scene is to have pockets of light, dark, light, dark. That's where we like to toss up little lights like an aperture MC, where you can throw that in a bookshelf. Or maybe that is a spotlight, which is something that we love to use and pretty much use on every lighting setup. We maybe throw a slash of light to accentuate sunlight coming from the window. You can also use tube lights. You can put tube lights in your frame for a stylistic look. You can also toss in some aperture B7Cs in a lamp and dial that into the exact color temperature or percentage that you want so that you can have a nice practical in the background. And another form of lighting is the fill light. Now the fill light is most often used in conjunction with our key light. The key light provides a nice base for your subject's face, and then you can also use a fill light to then start to bring back some of the light lost from your placement of the key light. Right now, I basically just have my key light at 45 degrees Rembrandt lighting with a large softbox, and then I have on the other side at 45 degrees of my face is a tube light, just providing a nice still on the opposite side of my key. Another quick and dirty way of doing a fill light is just having a white beadboard or some sort of white material, white ultra bounce or a V flat. You can have that opposite side of your key light, bringing back some of those shadows. Some clients may prefer more shadows, some clients may prefer less shadows. Having a fill light is a great way to fill in shadows, whether it be a light or a bounce material. Make sure you're an absolute pro at setting up a fill light. You may need it in the future. That's why it's important to study, learn, and practice applying all of these forms of lighting. That way you can continue to add layers into your image. It's not about collecting a bunch of gear and having a bunch of cool stuff, but it really is taking your game to the next level within each and every shoot. That way you continue to impress your clients. You continue to have fun in your, which is most important, is having fun, being inspired to go out and shoot. Because if you're always going out doing the same setup, I'm just gonna set up one camera, I'm just gonna set up a softbox with a key light, I'm just gonna hit record. Go out there with something new whether it's a new technique, new way of utilizing what you already have, or it's a new piece of gear, new way of adding another layer to your films. Whatever the case is, apply these techniques. Drop some ideas in the comments below and test out these different key lights. Maybe you lean towards beauty lighting and you don't really like shadows. Maybe you love shadows and you're getting wild with your clients and they're like, man, you got to tone it down, brother. You got to get some light on the face. We can't be using reverse key every time. Like, maybe we get that light a little bit to the side, use that Rembrandt lighting, use that edge light, dial it in, get some different forms of diffusion, test it out, see what it does with the eyes. Are you getting a good eye light? Are you getting a soft roll off from light to dark? Do you feel like the shadows are too hard? Test out stuff. Get out there, try it for yourself, and don't be so locked into your way. Oh, it's my way or the highway. Man, it's the client's way. It's what they want. And if we can find clients that kind of like what we like, then that's cherry on top, and that's the goal. But sometimes you have to work with what you have, and also don't be afraid to push back. Say, hey, look, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I have the lighting this way, because this is the story that you gave me, and I want to give you a natural look. And always be ready to give an account or give an explanation as to why you have your lighting set up this way. And the client requests that you change the lighting entirely, be ready for that. Be as confident as you are with your favorite lighting setup as your worst lighting setup, so that you can make those adjustments. That's all I got for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new about lighting, about different ways of lighting, different ways of telling your story and adding layers to your image. Don't forget, drop a comment below. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video, and we can't wait to see you in the next one.